If you're thinking about moving to Asheville, but you don't want to live in Asheville proper because it's not really affordable, you don't have to, you want a little bit more space and land, join us today because we are looking at towns surrounding Asheville in Asheville Metro Explained Part 2. Hey, I'm Beth Schadler with Tried and True Realty, powered by EXP, and welcome to our channel, Living in Asheville, where we explore what it's like to live, eat, work, sleep, play in Asheville, North Carolina. It is our job and our passion to know everything about this place, so check it out here. So you're thinking about moving here, but hey, we don't want to live in the city limits. Where are you gonna live? Well, let's take a look at a few different places. Number 1, Fairview, North Carolina. Fairview is southeast of Asheville. It's a little bit quieter. It's surrounded by the Blue Ridge Mountains. It's absolutely gorgeous. There's views and pastoral lands and big open areas with fresh air. It's gorgeous out there. It has a long history of really rich, nutrient-dense land, so it attracts a lot of farmers and entrepreneurs that have a strong sense of appreciation for that land and the heritage and that farm-to-table focus. So you have a lot of hippie farmers out there that are curious about nutrition and making a business of it. For example, Hickory Nut Gap Farm, really well known in our community and a wonderful establishment. This is a really large farm in Fairview where they produce perfect, unmatched quality meats that you can buy in bulk, wholesale, but you can also visit the farm. And one of the cool things about it is they really care about the overall resiliency of the ecosystem that they are a part of, and they try to have a net positive impact on it. What they say is that we respect nature and human and the interconnectedness of life. We operate our farms with respect for the land, our animals, and the farmer communities who raise them. I love that mission and that statement, and a lot of local people in Asheville do as well. But what's it really like to live in Fairview? Now, I know a lot of people that live in Fairview, a lot of mamas actually that live in Fairview. The public school system is rated really highly, so people sometimes choose to live in that area because of those school ratings. But what that can do is it can cause a lot of traffic congestion as well around school times. Not enough to make you freak out or anything like that, but still, sometimes you want to plan your day. It has a rural feel. I always have trouble with that word. Rural. It has a rural. It has a country feel, but it's only 20 minutes to downtown Asheville, so you have the opportunity to have a little bit more space and a little bit more openness, but have the accessibility of being so close to the city. Everything connects it on Charlotte Highway, what we call 74. There's also the Whistle Hop Brewery, which is right there, and it's great for parents and kids alike. There's like a big area to play, and it's a train-themed brewery, so parents can sit back and hang out and get some food from the food truck, and the kids can run around and play. There's even like a little soccer field down below. And there's a great hike up Bear Wallow Mountain. And this is a family-friendly and easy hike with panoramic views all around. It was originally named for bears wallowing in the meadows, but you don't see a lot of bears there now, which is kind of funny because there's bears all around Asheville, but not there right now. It's close to the Blue Ridge Parkway, and also the Mountains to Sea Trail is right there near Fairview. So it's a really nice place to be, a community all in itself, and really close to town too. Number 2, Arden, North Carolina. Again, about 20 minutes from Asheville, but this time south. And what south usually is synonymous with is traffic, but we'll get to that. It's also about 5 minutes from the airport, so if you're someone who needs to travel a lot, Arden might be a really good choice for you because our Asheville airport is really easy to get in and out of. The security lines go really quickly, and it's just super easy right now if it's not really busy. Arden has tons of shopping and ease of getting around when you're actually in Arden, and the high school ratings are really, really high across the board. But in truth, Arden could be anywhere in the USA. There's not much about Arden that screams Asheville per se. It seems like its own little bubble within Asheville. Like you'll see strip malls and chain stores and restaurants and things like that, and quickly built homes, but there's nothing like historic or unique necessarily about Arden. And Arden's kind of famous for the Florida man traffic. Sorry, no offense to Florida people, but Florida man traffic just means people who are a little frenzied and impatient and like some crazy drivers out there. There are 4 schools in a 1-mile radius in Arden, which makes for like drop-off times and pickup times just kind of wild. And you might see some parents kind of like pulling out their hair when they're trying to like be down to the minute on picking up their kids so they're not late. From Arden, getting to Asheville is not necessarily easy. I-26, which is the main thoroughfare to get up and down from Arden to Asheville, has been under construction for like 534 years, and it can back up easily. Not really, but you know, it can really back up, but it hasn't been under construction that long. Supposedly they should be finishing soon, but we'll see. It's now 2023, so we'll check that out later. So if you want to eat and work and live in Arden and kind of stay in Arden, it's a great place. And the people that I speak with that live there really, really like it. But if you need to commute and be different places and be a little bit more mobile, maybe it's a little bit more complicated to live in Arden. So you might want to rethink that location. Number 3, Bent Creek. A well-known, but also a little bit of a secret in Asheville. So it's just right south of Asheville, and it's its own thing. It's not just a neighborhood, it's not just an area, it's not just a forest, but it's all of these things. And it's only 15 minutes from downtown. Bent Creek was established in 1927 when they were doing a study of rehabilitation for cutover and degraded forest. And Bent Creek is the oldest experimental forest in the East, covering 434 acres of forest with hiking trails and camping spots. Mountain bikers especially love this area, and they come to it from all over the US to ride here. They love it because of the diversity of trails ranging from beginning to really difficult, steep terrain, even with some obstacles built in. There's something for everybody. And Bent Creek also connects with Pisgah National Forest, which is a national forest of mile-high peaks and cascading waterfalls and heavily forested slopes. There's rivers that you can whitewater down and lots of just beautiful trees and hundreds of miles of trails. So right outside all this majestic nature is a neighborhood also with the name Bent Creek, which attracts outdoor enthusiasts of all types and families and retirees and all kinds of people. Most of the homes there were built in the 70s. Some have been updated, but not many of them. So they're traditional ranch homes or split levels or bungalows. I've heard a lot of people complain there's not a lot of closet space in Bent Creek, or the layouts are kind of wonky. So you will find some outdated homes there, but you cannot beat that location. So within the Bent Creek neighborhood, there is the Bent Creek Community Center, which is 20 acres. And this is where neighbors gather, and there's a playground there, and there's also a stage there. We went to go see a performance not long ago of a friend's daughter doing trolls, and it's a really great way to build community. There's a community garden, and there's also a sandbox and a pavilion for parties of all different sorts, little trails around that area too, and just a nice gathering place. Now, being close to all this nature also provides some contrast to what's right up the road, which is really easily accessible shopping centers, grocery stores, pet stores, all within just a few minutes. And there's even the Asheville outlet malls, which are like tons of big box chain stores that are just a few minutes away, which is kind of funny. So you kind of have the best of both worlds. Houses in Bent Creek are in high demand, and they go for a reasonable rate, but a little bit more expensive just because of the proximity to all the nature and to Asheville. And right next to Bent Creek too is the Arboretum, which is flowering with gorgeous plants all year long, and they have a great Christmas light show and trails that you can walk and look at nature. And there is a lake nearby that you can camp nearby and fish and have a wonderful family camping experience. Number 4, Enka, North Carolina. Enka's rarely talked about well because it's Enka, but it is on the map and it is part of Asheville, so let's cover it. Enka is 12 minutes from downtown Asheville and really considered part of Asheville. It's where I-40 and I-240 and I-26 all meet. So it's really easy to get around Asheville, and it makes Asheville very accessible to live in Enka. Enka's really diverse and has changed so much throughout the years. And Enka really got its name from the American Enka Company, incorporated in 1928. And they built what became the nation's largest rayon production factory. At one point, they employed over 7,000 workers that came in. They were bussed in from all different areas surrounding Asheville. And on the campus of the American Enka Company, there was a library and 2 cafeterias and a bowling alley and a pool and things like that. So it really was a compound that people came to and worked for a long time. And then environmental regulations took over and rayon became less popular, and they started producing less and less. And now they've turned that lake, which was part of that company, into what's called Biltmore Lake, which is a intentional community with an HOA that has really nice homes and camping and trails around the lake, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And parts of the old factory are now part of AB Tech, which is a community college in Asheville. So there are parts of Enka that are still kind of industrial, and there's other new businesses that have popped up there that have their headquarters in Enka. And then there's some residential parts to Enka as well. And it really connects West Asheville, the hipness of West Asheville, with the rural nature of Candler. And it's known as the Twin Cities, Enka Candler. So even if Enka's not well known on its own, it's really that connection between Enka and Candler and West Asheville that makes it a point of interest when considering moving to Asheville. Number 5, Woodfin. Officially a hop, skip, and a jump from Asheville. It just flows straight out of North Asheville, and then you hit Woodfin. And it is 5 minutes from downtown, right on the banks of the French Broad River, which is one of the oldest rivers in the world. And it's really popular for things like tubing and fishing and just hanging out. There's also Woodfin River Park, which is also known as Ledges, which is a great place to ride a kayak if you're a playboater, and for fishing or just family fun. So Woodfin is still very much developing. You'll see newer construction next to homes that look like they've seen better days. Woodfin is on the up and up though, and there's lots of potential there. There's new businesses springing up all the time, and more of a community feel is being developed as the local government has now put a ban on more of the new short-term rentals. So ones that have already been granted permits in the past can be grandfathered in, but new ones or changing hands of sales may or may not get that permit handed over. Woodfin has its own enforcement too. It's its own little city, and it's not even very big, but they have their own police force and their own government politics and everything. There's also Reynolds Village, which is really close and nearby, and it's this walkable, tree-lined area with plenty of easy parking and shops and restaurants all nearby. There's like the town square in Reynolds Village and community events and a YMCA even. There are lots of towns and apartments right close to Reynolds Village as well. And then there's Reynolds Mountain, which is a luxury community of mostly custom-built homes with beautiful scenic views. There's about 200 homes there on about 250 acres. And one of my favorite personal things about Woodfin is Asheville Community Yoga, which opened in 2008. And it's a donation-based yoga studio. And it's where I gain a lot of my personal inspiration. I just love it there. It's kind of my second home. It started as a donation-based yoga studio so that yoga could be accessible to all people, no matter how much money they make or didn't make, and so that it could expose more people to the benefits of yoga. Through the years, it's expanded greatly and been able to offer courses in breathwork and meditation and Reiki and different various women's groups and men's groups. It's wonderful. Check it out. In Woodfin, you have really easy access to the Blue Ridge Parkway as well, which is perfect to access all the outdoor adventures that surround Asheville. And Woodfin's known as a safe place. Like, as a realtor, I'm not necessarily supposed to say what's safe or not, but at least that's what the marketing is telling us. At least 2 years in a row, Woodfin was named as the top 20 safest cities in North Carolina by the SafeWise report. And much like Enka, Woodfin is kind of in the middle and sandwiched between Weaverville and Asheville, so it's a good go-between and part of the North Buncombe school system. So there you have it, a more depth exploration of areas around Asheville. This is part 2 of a 3-part series, or maybe even part 4. We'll probably just keep adding on to it because there's so many little towns and places around Asheville that are adorable and have a lot to offer. So stay tuned and watch our video part 1 as well. Leave us a comment and let us know other areas that we have not made a video on or questions you may have, and we will make a video for you. You better watch out. We are Living in Asheville. Hit that subscribe button, click that little bell, leave us a comment, let us know what you want to see, and we will do it. Until then, ciao for now.